We go to the doctor every year for our annual checkup. Well, at least we're supposed to.
Yes, we are. In this week's Compute This, our computers need checkups too.
To explain why, welcome back Thor Schrock with Schrock Innovations. Good to see you, Thor.
Hey guys, good to see you.
Good to see you. So this preventative maintenance checkup, right? This is something we should always do.
I almost didn't do this segment today.
Why?
Well, what happens is, okay, we have a lot of ways we communicate with our customers. You know, we can send a direct email. We can send a Facebook post out. We can come on the blend. We can do it on the radio shows. If we do all those things at once, we get about 2,000 computers into our service centers in a week.
Right.
And you just can't provide good service with that many people. You just genuinely can't finish the computers quickly enough to make people happy. You know, imagine going 5 or 7 days without your computer. It's not a good thing.
Yeah, no.
So we try to string these things out a little bit. So we did the Facebook thing. And I didn't talk about it on the radio this weekend at all. And now I said, I'm going to come on the blend and I'm going to do it on the blend. And the other thing it does is it allows us to really benchmark how many people are watching the blend.
Right.
So no, it's actually our most popular sale of the year. The maintenance checkup special. Normally the thing is like $80. It's on sale for $35. And if you've never had a preventative maintenance checkup on your computer, it's just amazing. There was a customer who posted on our Facebook page who saw the Facebook announcement, brought her computer in. Nothing seemed to be wrong with it. We sit it down, we do a diagnosis on it, we find out her hard drive is starting to fail. And we were able then to take that hard drive and move all of her information over to a stable drive before the computer actually failed, and saved her about a $2,000 data recovery bill.
Yeah, because to recover that data after your hard drive fails, it gets really expensive. It takes a lot of time to get that data back.
Yeah, so we were able to save her quite a bit of money, and that's what the maintenance checkup is all about. And you know, at $80, it's a good value because we work for about 8 hours on the computer. So at $35, it's ridiculous, and that's why we get so many people that come in. So I did do a spot check of my service centers this morning to kind of look at how the benches are doing. All 3 service centers are keeping up at this point, so turnaround times are still 1 to 2 days. So we're still doing really good. You'll get your computer back very quickly. Once we send the mass email and once we get on the radio and announce this, then things get out of hand. So your best bet, if you want to take advantage of this, is get into the service center this week, because that way you'll get your computer back much more quickly than you would if you'd wait a longer time.
So what are you doing when you do the preventative maintenance checkup?
Sure. Well, we do a lot of things. Like I said, it takes about 8 hours. The bulk of that time is done testing your hard drive, testing your memory, the computer's memory, which is separate from the hard drive. Either one of those, if you have bad memory, you'll get weird blue screens or lockups or things like that.
The blue screen of death.
Yep.
Yes, I've seen that.
If you have the blue screen.
If you have a bad hard drive, the performance of the computer will be just incredibly slow. We test the power supply. A lot of people overlook their power supply. It's what provides power to everything in the computer. And what happens is if you're doing something particularly intensive and the computer seems to lock up when you do hard things, like if you're gaming or you're rendering a video or doing something that's intense, not just Facebook, but like doing something that's a little heavier on it, watching a Blu-ray movie, something like that, and the computer locks up, the reason could be because the power supply is not providing enough power. So we have a little meter, we plug it into that, and it tells us whether your power supply is good. So we go through all that stuff, then we get into the viruses and the malware and all that stuff. If there's something we can automatically remove just by clicking a remove button in a program, we'll just do it. If it's something that takes a little more time that we have to actually go through and remove, we'll call you and say you're not obligated to do anything, but we'll say, hey, you've got a bunch of viruses. I thought I had antivirus. Well, let's talk about that. We check your antivirus, we check the expiration date. A lot of people are using that McAfee stuff that's free from Cox, or they're using Lavasoft's free adware or AVG. It doesn't cut it. And just on Sunday, I had a customer that I called Sunday morning. I just happened to pop into the shop to check on a data recovery, and I saw one on the bench that had a bunch of infections on it, and I looked, and she was running McAfee and Lavasoft Adware's antivirus. And I'm like, well, you're running 2 free ones doesn't equal 1 paid one. They're both not adequate, and she was infected with 218 things.
You talk about infections. Where are we at right now? Because you had the one virus that was out that they discovered within the last couple weeks. Where are we at in terms of what's floating on out there?
Well, there's always stuff floating around out there, and basically the stuff that you see when it makes the evening news, that's because it's a particularly salacious thing, a vulnerability or a virus that affects everybody. The stuff you don't see is how many people get infected with little Trojans that use their computers to send mass emails to all your friends and family, things like that. With Mother's Day coming up next week, a lot of people are going to get a lot of e-cards, and about, I'd say 70% of those e-cards aren't even sent by real people. So when you open one of those up, you're risking infecting your computer. If you've got a good antivirus product, because you came in for a maintenance checkup, then you're going to be protected from those kind of attacks.
Yeah, that makes sense. And here's a special offer again, preventative maintenance checkups. That's good for this week only, $34.99. What is it, regular 80?
$80 normally.
80
so this is a little over 40%
You're
off.
essentially giving this away.
Yeah.
You put a lot of time into it. SchrockInnovations.com, 2 metro locations, one at Village Point, Papillion, and one in Lincoln as well.
Absolutely.
Laura, thanks for your time this morning.
Thanks,
We
guys.
appreciate it. All right, moving can be a daunting task. In less than 3 minutes, expert advice to make it a little bit easier.
And a weekend event featuring German music, food, and even cars. Details on that are less than 10 minutes
And
away.
later hosen, too. We've
Yeah.
got some of those.